how am I going to get the vow without marriage?
Yeah.
I said, why don't
Yeah, I
you?
don't believe in marriage
Why don't you believe in marriage?
because it's a massive L for dudes.
Why is it massive L for dudes?
The financial repercussions are significant in the event of divorce.
Then why aren't you marrying someone that actually loves you?
Because that actually loves me?
Because like, why would you get divorced?
Is that actually a question?
For in your mind, why are
would-
you so worried about divorce if you're
so just
committed
be
to
clear,
someone?
You think people that get married go into that specific marriage with the anticipation that they were eventually going to get divorced?
No,
I
but
think
why are
that's
you
what
so
prenups are
worried
for.
about it? If you're committed to someone like them, they're committed to each other.
Because women are fickle. Y'all change your minds.
Men change their minds.
Till death do us part don't mean nothing to y'all. It
That's a
don't
lie.
mean nothing. It's true. 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
What are the men
Find a
doing?
godly woman. A godly.
There you go. She'll believe in biblical
But the thing
values.
is, he doesn't take those views.
Oh, right.
So it's like, sure, as a Christian, we can go forward and say,
So it's just like-
we're
Okay,
called to do that.
but
Yes,
even-
like we're called to do that.
Yeah, but
So-
even Christian people get divorced.
She is.
Wait,
Do you think
so-
do you think Christianity is a antidote to divorce? I think now look, I'll be
Orthodox.
charitable, right? So I think the rates of divorce among religious people is lower. I'll grant that, but divorce still occurs.
And
So
usually it
even
occurs for
pious
small
Christian
reasons.
women. I mean, Andrew brought up Stephen Crowder before. This man, I don't know the full details of their conflict or dilemma or whatever.
Louder with Crowder.
He married. They were both virgins, I think, when they met. They're both Christian. She's divorcing the guy. Being Christian does not preclude you from divorce. And also, when you do get divorced, your faith, your values, the church is not going to oversee the divorce. The state is going to oversee the divorce. And that's absolutely catastrophic to men most of the time.
If I could add, I think, I'm not sure, I'm not Christian, so I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it considered a sin in Christianity to divorce?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So
It is, but
that's
there are
why
some-
I think it would be
There
less.
are exceptions.
Yeah.
Wait,
Like
but
if
here,
a man cheated on a woman,
Let me ask you a question.
there was
Let me
infidelity.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're married to a guy. You get married to him. And there's no abuse. There's no infidelity. You've fallen completely out of love with him and you're vaguely unhappy. But there's no abuse. There's no abuse. There's no infidelity.
Sorry.
But you're really unhappy. But he treats you well enough. Again, no abuse, no infidelity. Is that pretext for divorce?
I think divorce is just a cheap escape. I think there's things that can be worked out. I think there's things that can be prayed about. There's elders of church, there's pastors that I'm like, this situation has happened in my church before, and it's been solved through speaking to pastors, through speaking to family members, through talking to each other. Even this couple, they spent a week apart and they came back and they talked and they had a whole bunch of issues, but in the end they came back together and they found peace and they found
Hail
themselves.
and well met. Lol Paladins donated $200.02. Brian, just be like the sim, I mean genius, sitting at the table and marry a millionaire prostitute so that she can't take your money when she gets bored of the grift.
You spent $200 on that?
202.
Wait, so Lol Paladins, thank you for the TTS. Go ahead.
Wait, can you?
And we're back at the point
Why
of
do I go
like
back again?
Save your money.
Look,
with like
okay,
the marriage.
just let me ask you then. If a woman is just vaguely unhappy, but there's no abuse and there's no infidelity, is that enough pretext for divorce?
No,
Okay.
no.
But in her head, and at least how the laws allow it to occur, she could get a divorce, right? You acknowledge she could get a divorce.
could.
Right.
Right. And then the faith, the Christian values go out the window when her secular lawyer, because most people don't navigate a divorce without counsel, and her secular attorney is going to say, well, you're entitled to XYZ and communal property, and there was no prenup, and now you get, this much amount of alimony, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and all this kind of stuff. Men fare so terribly when it comes to divorce, and there's a bias in the court system. Okay, let me tackle it from this perspective. So when it comes to this marriage thing, all right, I would like to hear from you guys. I've already presented a bit of my thoughts on marriage, divorce. I actually think a better starting point, though, would be, can you present to me compelling and convincing arguments why I or other men should get married, as opposed to having long-term monogamous relationships?
You know, I think there's a whole bunch of advantages. Well, first of all, children is a big one. You said you said you wanted 7 sons.
I can have children outside of wedlock.
How do you know that? What reason would that woman have to stay with you?
Yeah, you didn't really answer the question though. So
I know. I'm giving you like examples. I'm like saying,
so
with marriage is kind of like, people say they lock down, right? Marriage, like, yeah, you can divorce, but I feel like if you want kids, right? And I'm not saying this is with every marriage. I'm just saying, like, let's say in your case, you want kids, right?
Sure.
And a woman who is not married to you, why does she have to stay with you if you're not married? If you're not, like, what are you going to be giving to her outside of wedlock?
Wait, so our love and the continuity of our relationship is contingent upon marriage?
No, I'm not saying that.
She must not love me very much if it's contingent upon this.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, okay, so you want to have like give me a second. You want to have a married life just without the ring, without the sign, of the papers. That's what you want.
Sure. What's the argument, though?
What are you fearful of?
No, I have an argument.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. One at a time, though. One at a time. One at a time.
So many Christians at the table, Brian.
Wait, so because a woman can leave you just as easily as she can divorce you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you want? And the thing is, if she, actually, there's a whole bunch of like ways that, because I was about to say that, like, if she has a ring on her finger, she has you, she's loyal to you, she's locked down. But I guess married women do cheat. So there's a lot of like things that can be said. Because like for me, I live a very godly life. I follow God. I want God to be at the center of everything. So in my mind, I see marriage as a way of joining a man and a woman into
Just assume,
marriage.
for the sake of argument, that the person you're trying to convince
is not
doesn't believe in
You
your...
have to take
God.
I have the
Oh my
equation.
gosh. Okay.
So you're going to have to present secular arguments on this one.
What would be
I
your
have one.
argument?
Skip me.
I did research and I could not figure one out.
Hold on.
I could not.
I have
hold
one,
on.
yeah.
I will grant that there are justifications for being married under a Christian worldview, Islam, Judaism. Maybe there's other religions out there that, whatever, it's part of the faith. But you haven't really presented, I mean, even for Christian men, like, there needs to still be compelling reasons to do something.
Yeah, I'm like, every time I try to think of something, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to think of something, I could think of like a counter argument to it. So I'm not gonna lie, I've just always believed in marriage. I don't even know.
Because you're saying, well, one of the things I think one of the arguments you're about to make was, well, okay, wouldn't it solidify the relationship more? But
exactly.
the counter argument here is...
that's why I'm like thinking like counter argument.
The counter argument here is, there's actually, now that we're married, now that the state is potentially involved, there's actually incentive for her to end the relationship. Financial incentive.
Financially.
Because if she ends I could just make the argument, she's more likely to stay with me because she has nothing to gain if she leaves me. But if she's married to me, she has a lot to gain by leaving me, which is potential alimony, splitting of community property. So
right, but if we're talking about to a Christian man, like even in the Bible, God says it's good for a man to find a wife. That's a good thing. But then also, it's good to stay married because that keeps you from sexual sin.
what do you mean? Can you not have a monogamous relationship outside the marriage?
You absolutely can.
But what's the difference? Once you get married, how's that going to keep you
That's your commitment.
monogamous?
You are committing to that person. It's not just a piece of paper.
Okay,
I
guess
commit to you.
Okay.
I will never cheat. Like, what's the difference?
I guess my question is, what are you afraid of besides losing
No,
monetary
I have an
value? What are you
argument.
scared
Besides
of?
getting
I have a
wrecked?
secular argument.
Hold on. I'll come to you. I'll answer his question. So, I mean, what am I scared of? So, I mean, first off, I think that there are significant financial ramifications in the event of a divorce. So I'm a high earner, and if I were to marry a woman, I would lose a fuck ton of money. And then also, in addition to that, there's the legal expenses. So you have to pay for an attorney. If you significantly out earn your partner, you might have to pay for her attorney. Then you're paying 2 attorneys. Attorneys are very expensive. Divorce tends to be very pricey. So there's that component there too. Also, I don't see, like, let's remove what I'm scared of. I mean, I've kind of already articulated. There's the financial ramifications. I just don't see like a compelling reason to get married. Like, what do I get from a marriage that I don't get from a long-term monogamous girlfriend?
The only thing I can think of, and like I'm not like super pro marriage or anything. Like, I'm not like telling you should get married to whoever you decide to be with, but like, oh shit, what was I gonna say? I literally just
It's okay.
brain farted.
Think about it. What do you have?
Okay, this is the only compelling argument I can think of, and this in only this scenario and situation only. This girl that you met,
Yeah.
she's BLMing.
Oh my God.
She's borderline dwarf. She's either Asian or well, I'm gonna say she's Asian.
She's an Asian dwarf with large labia. Okay.
Wow. So his perfect
She
woman.
bows for you.
Yep.
She has 0 body count,
Okay.
but she's from Korea.
That was a
But
thinking
wait,
green
why
card.
but from Korea?
You're gonna have to bring her over, and the only way you can do that is to sponsor her. You can't sponsor her unless you marry her, and you're not gonna give up the perfect woman.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like
She's a foreign. She's a foreign national.
You're so
Hey, she can stay here for a couple months. I send her back. She comes. She goes. It's good.
you
you're
can't
not
do
married.
that
So-
on a
This
is the
visa.
thing.
So
It's
it
a
comes
spousal
down.
visa.
Your monetary value means more to you than love.
Huh?
Your monetary value means more to
What?
you than love.
So that's an interesting argument, but I could just flip this back on her and say this arbitrary,
Agreement.
Because if you're
Not
that
agreement,
worried about it, why wouldn't you just sign a prenup and get married?
Facts.
Well, so
Why don't you be prudent in the fact that you find a wife that doesn't even believe in
I can
divorce?
only do one thing at a time. So, okay, when it comes to the prenups,
Math ain't math.
prenups frequently get thrown out. They frequently get challenged in court. That adds another layer of legal complexity. Also, prenups, my understanding of them, I'm not an attorney, they can only deal with assets pre-marriage. But once you're married, my understanding is a prenup can't make any determinations as to what is accrued during the course of the marriage. So that comes down to community property. So basically, if I'm making, say, $1 million a year and we're together for 10 years, she's getting half of that.
Swiss banks.
No, I mean, that's a workaround. Courts can, they can pierce the veil
To an
and
extent.
still get your
But
money.
That's a
but
good band.
Isn't this violating the entire principle that we're talking about anyway, right? So the principle that we're talking about is what good is it for a secular
Yeah.
person to get married? And if the idea there is, well, it's fine to get married because you're bonded, but you got to hide all your money in different banks and then sign a prenup and this and that. If you can accommodate all of the same exact commitments without the actual marriage, then what's the point of the marriage for a secular person?
Well, for them, like, dude, your partner can go and get married to somebody else
Loyalty.
whenever she
Loyalty.
wanted.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, yeah.
So you're
well,
no
sure,
longer
but-
committed. Like you're not in anything that's like actually commitment. You're just
What do you
boyfriend
mean?
and girlfriend. There's no commitment.
She could leave you at
I
any
don't
time.
understand why they couldn't
Anytime.
do that.
You could
She
leave
could
her
leave
at
divorce.
and
She
you
could
could
leave
leave her at
anytime
any
in the
time.
marriage.
She could also cheat during marriage.
That's also like the person you're picking. You're picking someone
For
who's
life.
more of a simp rather than someone who actually will go through the hard things with you, not just because she's a simp, but because she's a woman.
Okay, well, mine was good though.
Yours was good.
Wait, so okay, we'll come back to that.
I don't
It was
understand
great.
this argument.
I loved it.
I'll come.
was
I'll
fantastic.
give you my response. But so, when it comes to like the love thing, right? I can just reverse the argument onto her. If you loved me, there would be no need to get married. So that same argument can be equally applied to,
You're still fearful of something.
Yeah, I don't want to get divorce great.
You know, like
Yeah, but it's
85%
greater
of
than
things that
it's
you
greater
hear
than
never
monetary
happen.
value.
No, but I can still have a relationship with a woman absent marriage.
But
Yeah.
there's no full commitment in that.
There's nothing.
That's like,
there's
all
full-
right,
there's
this is
full
my
commitment.
girlfriend.
Well,
You
I don't
know,
understand
What-
why is there not, like, from a secular marriage standpoint, what's the commitment anyway
for marriage.
for a secular marriage?
I mean, for all marriages till death do us part.
Yeah, but
Hail
secular
and well
marriage-
met.
Lol Paladins donated $200.02.
They are
Maybe
married.
you should marry her so that she stops sucking D on camera, Brian. That's what a real Christian man would do.
Who?
What?
What?
Huh? Lol Paladins.
You
thank
paid
you for
way
the
too much
TTS.
money for
Here,
that.
Wait, or Andrew, sorry, Andrew, you had
Buy a
something.
hoodie, you get entered to win a race car.
Yeah, I'm just asking from a secular perspective. So this is non-religious. They don't have to take the same vows to death do your part. Why do they need to do that? They don't have any type of religious commitment going on here whatsoever. The thing that makes the bond of religious marriage important is because you're doing it under God. So you're making a vow in a sacrament, right? It's a sacramental marriage. But if you're a secularist, you're not doing any of that.
So you don't make
can just
vows in a
declare-
secular.
Yeah, you still make vows.
You
like
still
at the
make
altar.
vows in a
You don't have
secular
to make any of
relationship.
those vows. Why would you need to?
I've never seen a marriage where you don't make vows.
That doesn't mean that you can't have a marriage where you don't.
It just means
What?
that they're not religious.
What?
Here, wait,
How could
I
you have a
think it's
marriage
more
and don't have vows?
Vows don't
Why
really
would it be
tie
a
into religion.
requirement for secularists to get married and say till death do us part? I don't get that. Why is that necessary for a secularist meaning non-religious, a non-religious person getting married? Why do they need to make such vows?
What?